الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. We proceed today into the next part of our marriage course, if you like. We have finished studying the kitab of nikah. Finished meaning we've covered. Of course we haven't finished every single aspect of it. But inshallah now we move on to the next bab and the next kitab. And the next bab and the next kitab is the kitab of Talaq, the chapter of Talaq. There are a few points inshallah we will say as an introduction initially before we go into the chapter. And then inshallah we'll talk about some of the initial sort of principles or the beginning issues they're going to cover at the beginning of any chapter, which is the ta'reef of it, the definition of it, lughatan wa silahan, linguistically and technically according to the fuqaha, and then also what is the evidence of its permissibility, and so on and so forth. First of all, Allah Azza wa Jal, when He permits something, we have a principle that if Allah Azza wa Jal permits something and if it's made it halal, then there is in it good for us. And if Allah makes something haram, then there is in it bad for us. As for talaq, talaq is something, it could be, the hukum of it rotates between being mubah, permissible, jaiz, and being mandub, recommended sometimes, and being wajib sometimes, or being makruh sometimes, or being haram sometimes. Which means that talaq itself, its hukum is not always the same. So if I want to understand, is talaq a good thing or a bad thing, I need to see which talaq am I talking about. Is it the talaq that would be mandub, or mubah, or makruh, or haram, or wajib? It depends. So if in a situation we find ourselves, or somebody at some point in their life finds himself that talaq has now become the only way for them to escape the misery and the difficulties and the fighting and the arguing and the effects on their physical, mental and spiritual health, the only way they can escape from that is through separating from that person that they cannot get along with, then there the hukum will be one. And there we can say that talaq is, for example, required. But if somebody is just giving talaq for the sake of fun, for the sake of just bored of the person, or just because I can't be bothered anymore, I just changed my mind, then this would be makruh, disliked. So therefore, talaq is not always just permissible. And so therefore for us to understand, is talaq, the wisdom behind it. What is the wisdom behind it? The wisdom behind it is that Allah Azza wa Jal gives a solution for our problems. Even in medication and medicine, Allah Azza wa Jal, the hadith says that there is no illness except that Allah Azza wa Jal has given it for a cure. And so in life we have different circumstances, different difficulties, different situations that may arise. And Islam and our deen and our Quran and our Sunnah never tell us to remain stagnant or not do anything to change a situation that's overburdening, too much of a difficulty, no benefit coming from it. It's just making your life and your mind and your spirituality rot away. Islam gives a solution. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah will not demand from you something you cannot bear. At the same time, ما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج. He has not made for you in your deen so much unbearable difficulty that it's too much. It's not extremely difficult. And so therefore, the wisdom of talaq and its permissibility, inshallah, we should cover it a bit later on. But the chapter, it needs a bit of introduction. That there is within talaq and the permissibility of talaq, we see that the one that created us really knows us. If Islam said that you can't divorce your wife, or she can't get a khula or a separation from you, then that Islam would be problematic. Because it goes to show that this Islam does not understand, wal-'iyadhu billah, it's not the case. It would have gone to show that it does not understand human beings. But Islam, just like it's permitted zawaj, marriage, is also permitted talaq, depending on circumstance. And that goes to show that أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ. He is the one that truly knows who and what He created. وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. He is the one that has deep insight, the all-knowing. And so the fact that talaq is a thing, that separation is possible, it is possible to discontinue and stop a marriage, a marital contract, it goes to show that Allah Azza wa Jalla is all wise. It's a sign of Allah's knowledge and His khibra and His ilm. Point number one. Point number two, talaq, when we talk about it, the first thing that we should remember, that separation and divorce is not something that can be in your mind or a part of the plan when someone goes into marriage. If someone's thinking, I'm going to go and get married to this person for a year or 2 years or 6 months, then this kind of marriage is not allowed in the first place. And if there's no marriage, then there's no talaq. If someone has the intention, the niyyah, that I'm getting married for 3 months, 4 months, 10 months, mut'ah, if you like, whatever you call it, this is not jaiz, this is haram. Number two. These are some of the sort of points that I just wanted to cover. It's not in the kitab, but I just want to clarify before we go into the chapter from the beginning. Number three, talaq is always the last resort. Talaq is always the last resort. It's never the first resort. It's not what you decide to do just because you feel like it. It's not what you decide to do because you're in a moody mood, because you're just angry, or you're having problems with something else. You just want to vent it by giving your wife talaq. Nor is it the other way around. Talaq or khula is not just for venting a rage. It's not for vengeance. It's not for getting back at your spouse because of children or because of something, an expected gift or an unexpected word, whatever. Talaq is a last resort, which we resort to only when there is an actual need, because there is indeed hadith which we'll come to, which is that the most disliked thing, which is halal, is talaq. Out of all of the halal things, the most disliked of them is talaq itself. There is in the isnad of that hadith some kalam, but according to the ulama, this is la ba'sa bihi, it's okay, it can be used for evidence. So there is a saying of the Prophet ﷺ in that regard, that it's not something that you resort to straight away, it's something that you go to, it's the last resort, it's the last call. And the Quranic ayat and the Quranic methodology and the Quranic teaching shows you that way. Allah didn't say, for example, that if you don't get along with your wife, divorce them. He didn't say that. Or if you don't get along with your husband, then seek khula from them. He doesn't say that. Allah said, وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ شِقَاقَ بَيْنِهِمَا فَابْعَثُوا حَكَمًا مِّنْ أَهْلِهِ وَحَكَمًا مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا إِنْ يُرِيدَ إِصْلَاحًا يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا. If you fear that there will be disagreement, dispute, fighting between the two spouses, then send from either side a hakam, a judge, a wise person, a murabbi, someone who will speak on their behalf, clear up doubts, bring them to common grounds, remind them of what's the purpose, and try to mediate. Allah says, in yurida islah, if they really want to try and find a solution, a common ground, a suluh, an agreement, then Allah will give them the tawfiq for that. If Islam and if the Quran did not want talaq to be a last resort, then He would not have given other resorts before that. It's given other solutions before that. And so therefore it goes to show that it's not something that anybody at all should jump to in any circumstance. It comes after a long journey of trying to solve. And then even he says, وَاللَّاتِي تَخَافُونَ نُشُوزَهُنَّ فَعِظُوهُنَّ وَهْجُرُوهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ وَضْرِبُوهُنَّ. That Allah Azza wa Jalla has given steps to deal with misconduct, where the husband is not doing his part, where the wife is not doing her part. How do you deal with that? Allah is saying, فَعِظُوهُنَّ. Advise them, admonish them. If needs be, temporarily go away somewhere, get some fresh air if you like. Don't sleep next to them for each other for a while, just to create that space. And there are other steps also mentioned, which are covered in more detail. Inshallah, we'll come into that inshallah later on in the marriage course. فَإِنْ أَطَعْنَكُمْ فَلَا تَبْغُوا عَلَيْهِنَّ سَبِيلًا. And if you can come to a resolution, a solution, then فَلَا تَبْغُوا عَلَيْهِنَّ سَبِيلًا. Don't try to, out of vengeance, out of anger, try to say, oh, I'll teach you a lesson, come on then, let me take you to the Sharia court. Oh, I'll teach you a lesson, come on then, I'll divorce you. This is not what Islam is teaching us. Because understand, the reason why it's the most disliked halal, there are reasons for that. Because talaq does not just affect you and I, or you and the person, or you and your spouse. Well, you and I didn't really go there. You and the person. Talaq affects everybody. You and I, everybody affects everybody. It affects you, the husband, the wife, the children, the parents, the community, the neighborhood, all of the relationships around them, everyone's affected. The whole community takes a hit because of one talaq. And so yes, it is permissible, but it should be something that we tread into and we step towards only when required, and very, very, very carefully after clear calculations and this proper calculated decision making, not just out of emotion. That is the reason. In fact, number 3, it should be the law. That is the reason why Allah Azza wa Jal has made the talaq, the responsibility of it, Allah has given it in the hand of the one that's supposed to be less emotional, the one that's supposed to be mentally more calm, more stable. Talaq, the ability to quickly give talaq, has been given in the hand of the one who does not behave in an ajala way, doesn't just quickly say anything, calculates, is emotionally stable, does not have the monthly periods. Who is that? The man. As for the spouse, the female spouse, as for the wife, if she wants to seek an end to the relationship, she can also do so. But Islam intentionally, Allah has purposefully made the steps a bit longer so that she can clearly think about it and not make regrets afterwards. If the opportunity is there just to say it out of emotion, then this would have severe damages. And that's why lots of people that deal with marriage, counseling and stuff like that, they always say that a lot of the times they want separation and divorce right now, but after 2 weeks you can't separate them even if you wanted to. Sometimes emotions get the better of you. So talaq, from the wisdoms of it, or from the fact that it should be the last resort, that's why Allah gave the charge of it in the hand of the male partner, who's supposed to be a rajul. Ar-rijalu qawwamun. Men are maintainers, in charge of. If you are a man, if you have that comprehension, the understanding, the stability, the composure, and not behave like a child, emotional breakdowns and stuff like that, and just behaving like a child, then this is not you living up to being a rajul or a mar, a respectable person with muru'ah and stature. And so that's why you have that responsibility and leadership, because you're supposed to be like that. If you can't, then you're not really living up to your standards. You're not living up to your standards. Number 4 I want to clarify is that if after all of the steps required, meaning that the person has taken, the two couples have taken all of the steps possible to try and resolve and try to mediate, but eventually they had to separate because of this happens. This can happen. It happened at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. It happened between Sahaba and Sahabiyat, and so it goes to show that this is possible between even the best of people after the Anbiya even. You see, and so therefore it's possible between any human beings. And so therefore, because it's natural, and if they have taken the right steps, there should be no stigma attached to it. And this is specifically for our culture. Arabs are a bit more better with this, I think, from my experience. That, a mutallaqa, a divorced woman is like seen as some sort of lower. A'udhu billah. A divorced man is seen as a lower grade. He's like, used product. He's like seen like that. But it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. This is the stigma that we attach to divorce, that just because someone's had a divorce, as if they have got some sort of deficiency. No. Sometimes the first marriage may not work. Sometimes the second marriage may not work. But the third marriage may work. Because not all people are exactly emotionally suitable for one another. And it's not like we go and test talaq. We try our best. Even before that, we take the measures. We look and we try, we conversate, we make dua, we do istikhara, we look at the sifat that we're supposed to look at for. But even then, things can go wrong, and that's why talaq has been made permissible. If they do the correct way of talaq, or the correct way of khula, there should be no stigma attached to it. I can't look at a divorcee, a brother, and say, think any less of him. I can't look at a divorcee sister and think any less of her. This is not allowed. This is a form of oppression. This is a form of dhulm. How do you know what they've been through? They are probably more pious, more righteous, more closer to Allah than you. And who am I, you and I, to think they're lesser than me? What's this? This is nonsense. Like I said, even Sahaba and Sahabiyat had divorces. So if they've taken the right steps, then they should not be targeted or bullied for that at all. Number 5, in order to avoid family breakdown, it is a responsibility upon the spouses, yes indeed, that the two spouses have to work towards trying to make their marriage work. It requires work. I say in nikah ceremonies and nasiha, I say that anything precious in life takes time and effort. You buy a car, it takes time and effort to research, to work on it. You're going to see yourself going there, going to MOT, doing the servicing, doing the road tax, and you do it very happily. So similarly, marriage is also very precious. Allah has given you your partner, your partner to be in this dunya and the akhirah. You should be happy and willing to make any sacrifice and effort required to make it work, as long as it's within the guidelines of Sharia. So it takes effort from the spouses, but it also takes effort from the entire community. Allah has given the responsibility of getting people married to the entire community. Allah didn't say, just say tanakahu, go and get married and seek for yourself spouses. Allah says وَأَنْكِحُوا in Surah An-Nur that you, entire community, the ummah has a responsibility to get others married off and maintain their marriages also. What am I trying to get at? What I'm trying to say is it takes effort from the spouses, but often the spouses are making an effort, but guess what? You have elders or other members, neighbors, sisters, siblings, friends trying to destroy their efforts. Parents, yes. In-laws destroying the efforts. Not always, but it happens. It can happen. And this is a major, major sin. Major sin. If Allah Azza wa Jal has cursed sihr, which is one of the key ways of separation between husband and wife. Imagine someone who didn't use sihr, yes, but is trying to destroy. Is trying to destroy marriage. Imagine if namima, which is a major sin to create fasad between two people, normal people, friends, community members. If it's a major sin, imagine creating namima and fasad between a husband and a wife. Breaking down a family. Breaking and destroying a contract that Allah says, وَأَخَذْنَ مِنْكُمْ مِيثَاقًا غَلِيظًا. They have taken from you a very serious oath. وَأَحْلَلْتُمْ فُرُوجَهُنَّ بِكَلِمَةِ اللَّهِ. You have made them halal for you with the words of Allah. A contract that's been signed by the words of Allah, connected by the words of Allah. And you, whoever you may be, or whoever that person may be, is trying to destroy that contract. A'udhu billah. Can you imagine the level of sin it could be? It's big, big, major sin. Big, big, big sin. So therefore, it is the responsibility of the entire community, starting from the parents. Sometimes, parents of the two spouses, they should facilitate whatever needs to be done to make their marriage work. Help them out. Don't bog them down with this and that expectation and this expectation. Yes, these are expectations we expect at normal times, but if they are going through a hard time, then support them. Some will say, what's the point of that? Just let it go in it. Talaq, Talaq. What's going on? It's like they're going to live your life for you. It's like they're going to look after your children for you. This is jahala. It's ignorance. How can you do this? Parents need to support. Sometimes even children need to support. What do I mean by that? Sometimes children, your parents, especially if you're young, maybe you're teenagers, your parents may have been divorced. Your mom may have been divorced. Your father may have been divorced. And he wants to get married again. Support him. Don't get so selfish and so emotional and say, oh no, how can you backstab my mum? This is not, who said that? Who said it's backstabbing? It's not backstabbing. Islam has allowed it. If it was backstabbing, Islam wouldn't allow it. The Prophet ﷺ has allowed it. This is their right. If they want to get married again afterwards, support them. No problem. It didn't work out the first time, support them. So the children may need to support as well the marriage sometimes. And then you have got brothers and sisters. Sometimes the sister-in-law, will start creating problems and gossiping. Oh, Bobby said this and Bobby said that. Oh yeah, she doesn't really like mom, she doesn't really like dad, she disrespects us, she doesn't like us, all of that. And you do it for banter sometimes and bang, said it bang, it's finished. It becomes a major war. Sometimes, joke becomes a war. Gossiping is, that's why gossiping too much necessarily is not good. It's not good. And if it's ghiba, of course it's haram. You see, so sisters, brothers need to support marriage. Brothers should also say, brothers shouldn't say, why are you always spending time with your wife? Relax, man up a bit, man up in it. Why are you spending so much time? Relax, man. Let the guy's been waiting for 25 years. Let him spend some time. What's your problem? So even brothers need to help. And this is the most important, the friends. Oh, you friends, you evil friends. You friends need to fix up. You need to help the married couple. Because friends put a lot of pressure on you. It's true. I try to live put up in this culture, right? So friends put a lot of pressure. Oh yeah, so you got married, Jay, we didn't even see you anymore, bruv. What's going on? Like you become some sort of, she's got you on smash. You're locked down. Yo, you're finished, cuz. This kind of talking. It might be a joke, it might be banter, but trust me, it has an effect. It can have an effect. You don't know how it's going to impact the person. You might be ha ha ha, but inside they're thinking, yo, I don't want to get mocked at. I don't want to be mocked like that. So like maybe I should. No support. The guy got married. He's completing half of his deed. He's with his spouse. He's with his other half. Encourage it. He says, oh, I need to go home. It's 10 o'clock. Someone says, oh, okay. And those kind of snide remarks. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's fine, jokes are fine, banter is common, but then be careful, know the limits, know your person, know your friend, and see when it might affect them. Then you should step back a bit and support them. Same with the female friends as well for the sisters. Yeah, also, if she wants to be extra nice towards her husband and whatever, like she wants to express her passion and her love for him or whatever and spend more time, support it. For example, this is a common thing as well. For example, the sister, maybe the husband, would like for her to become more practicing. Khalas, more practicing. Maybe before she was wearing hijab, now maybe she doesn't mind wearing the niqab because her husband likes it and she's also okay with that. Oh, I don't change for nobody. I'm not going to change for no man, innit? Well, what have you won? Like, what's the point? If you're changing towards good, what's the harm in that? Khalas, if you're changing towards good, what's the harm in that? That's the whole point. You're supposed to. The hadith says that you have completed the half of your deen, so fear Allah in the remaining half. The point being is everybody, the entire society needs to support marriages and maintaining a healthy marriage household. Unfortunately, the reason why that's important to state is because unfortunately we're living the opposite. Everybody is not supporting marriages. The culture doesn't support marriage. Marriage is seen as backdated. Marriage is seen as boring. Marriage is seen as unburdensome commitment. Marriage is seen as what's the point of it? People just get married, like especially non-Muslims, and it's a huge influence on Muslim cultures as well. Marriage is seen as a token of appreciation. It's just like, yeah, you love me, so yeah, let's get married. Otherwise, everything else, there's no need for halal haram. Who cares about that? So society, the culture itself does not support marriage. And then on top of that, if the Muslim societies don't support the marriage, if the parents don't support a healthy marriage, help them, encourage them, make it easy for them to live happily, with the brothers and the friends and the sisters, and everyone that we've mentioned before, right? Then what do you expect? Then we have a pandemic. We have an epidemic of marriage breakdown. Wallahi, those who are living in this society, you will know, divorces are so common. And divorces over stupid things. Divorces because they're just bored. Divorce is because they have too many high expectations. Divorce is because this and that, all of the silliest reasons. And this is, don't for a moment forget that shaitan is against you. Inna shaitana, what's the ayah that says, فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا لَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ. Don't follow the steps and the plans of shaitan because he is a clear enemy for you. He's a clear enemy for you. And his biggest success is to break a marriage. We know the story, right? That Iblis gathers all of his armies every day. And he takes a report. Who did you do what? Who? And this is authentic, this is true. Iblis gathers all of his followers every day. And he made himself a throne somewhere in the oceans. That's also in the hadith. That's his biggest form of arrogance. He tried to copy and try to be like God and make it his own throne. And so every day he takes reports. What do you do? I made someone rob someone. I made someone kill someone. I caused a foreign policy problem like colonization. I caused like a war between two countries. All of these different things. Yeah. So what have you done? What have you done? And then everyone's saying this. Oh, good, well done. And then one frail, weak Shaitan comes and says, I haven't done much. I'm just separated a husband and a wife. And he says, you come and sit next to me. You're the one. You're the one that done the biggest task. You have done the biggest fasad. You have done the biggest task of damaging humanity, of damaging society. Because you can, by breaking a marriage, you have broken the contract that was signed by Allah's words. You have destroyed a family. You have destroyed a generation. Not destroyed, but you've caused a problem in it. You've made it harder for them. And that's what Shaitan wants you to do. He's an enemy for you. And so this epidemic of marriage breakdown is fueled by Shaitan. Fueled by so many aspects of Shaitan's wasawis. On the one hand, making someone else look more attractive to you than your husband or your wife. On the other hand, saying, higher expectations than you're supposed to be able to be, beyond your means. On the other hand, taking seriously a joke that someone made about you. So, you're too committed to your husband, and making that seem like a big deal to you in your mind, and you think, okay, maybe I'm causing a problem from there. Do you see, Shaitan's always there. He is within your blood, running around with your veins, trying to make your life harder. So it's fueled by, fired by, powered by Shaitan. All of this breakdown of marriage and family breakdown. These are points to be noted and remembered before we even go into the topic of talaq. And these are just some of them. I'm sure there are many more points to cover. And just to summarize, what are these points? First of all, that in the fact that Allah has facilitated and legislated talaq is wisdom that Allah knows us. There is wisdom within that. And we can see Allah's wisdom within that. Number one. Number two, it cannot be a planned marriage that you're going to end with talaq, because that marriage is not allowed in the first place, because that's mut'ah, and that's not allowed in Islam. Number three, should be a last resort, and because it's a last resort, it should be dealt with as such, and every other measure should be taken beforehand. And the fact that it's a last resort is also shown by in whose hands Allah has given that responsibility. Primarily, of course, there is also from both sides, but it's supposed to be dealt with or taken a lead on by the more responsible, more calm, more composed person. Number four, there should be no stigma attached to the spouses who have had to have a divorce because of any unfortunate circumstances. Nor for them, for the spouses, or for their parents, or for their families, or for their children. A lot of the times, even children of divorcee parents are targeted. They're bullied. Parents are saying, the whole family is seen as, it's not a good family. They keep on having divorces. Or they got a divorcee in their family. It's not a good family. It's kind of stigma like this. This is unfounded, and this is not correct. And lastly, the entire community, the whole ummah, all of us need to support marriage and maintaining a healthy household. All of us need to encourage it. We need to help whichever we can. Get creative. How can I help my brother and my Bobby's marriage if they are having a hard time? How can I help this person and my friend struggling with his wife? How can I help make dua? Think. This is our responsibility. If we help to maintain a healthy family, a healthy marriage, then we are doing the work that's destroying the work of Shaitan. Because Shaitan is doing the opposite. Okay? We are the hizb of Allah, and Shaitan has his own hizb. Okay. So let's get straight into it, inshallah. The first of all, what is talaq? Okay? Well, it's called انتهاء رابطة الزواج وحصول الفرقة بين الزوجين إما يكون. Okay, so this is the تعريف, but just generally saying إما أن يكون بالطلاق أو بالفسخ. That as for the ending of the contracts and the connection of marriage and to establish a separation between the two spouses, then it can only be with talaq or fasakh. Talaq or fasakh. Fasakh is separation, talaq is also separation, but it's slightly different in terms of how it's done. Okay? وتكون الفرقة طلاقا إذا أوقعها الزوج أو من ينوب عنه. It will be called a talaq if it has been done by the male spouse, the husband, or whoever is carrying the message for him. Okay? وتكون الفرقة فسخا إذا كانت بسبب نقض العقد. Yes, so and it will be called a fasakh, a separation, if it is because of the fact that the contract had to be broken by a mufti or a sharia council or a qadi or something like that. Okay, this could be because of